In Washington, a fierce debate is underway, capturing the attention of lawmakers, policy experts, and families across the country. The central issue? The future of healthcare subsidies that help millions of Americans afford their health insurance. At stake is whether the government should continue providing extra financial help, subsidies, for millions to afford health insurance under the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. These subsidies, which were expanded during the COVID-19 pandemic, made insurance more affordable for many people who previously struggled to pay for coverage. They also extended help to more middle-income families, allowing them to keep their insurance and avoid tough choices between healthcare and other essentials. But now, as of October 2025, these enhanced subsidies are set to expire at the end of the year, creating uncertainty for millions. Congress is deeply divided on what to do next, with both parties holding firm to their positions. If lawmakers fail to act, premiums could spike dramatically, putting coverage out of reach for many families. For some, this could mean losing insurance altogether, or facing impossible choices about their health and finances. Democrats warn of a looming premium cliff, a sudden jump in costs that could push families off their coverage and into financial distress. The fear is real. Without action, families may be forced to give up their health plans or cut back on other necessities. The timing is urgent. Insurers are setting rates now, and decisions made in Congress will shape what Americans pay next year. Open enrollment is just around the corner, and millions are waiting to see if they'll be able to afford coverage. Without a decision, millions could soon face massive premium hikes, adding to the financial strain many already feel. The debate is tangled in broader government funding talks, making a solution even harder to reach as deadlines approach. The stakes are high for families nationwide, as the outcome will determine whether healthcare remains affordable for millions. The financial security of countless households hangs in the balance, with many anxiously awaiting Congress's next move. Ultimately, the decision will shape not just the health coverage, but the peace of mind of millions of Americans. Democrats argue that letting these crucial subsidies expire would be disastrous for millions of working families across the country, especially those already struggling to make ends meet. They point to alarming estimates that premiums could rise by as much as 75% for some, putting affordable health coverage out of reach for many Americans. This could force families to make impossible choices between keeping their health insurance and paying for essentials like food, rent, or utilities. Leading Democrats warn that ending these subsidies could result in tens of thousands of preventable deaths each year, as more people lose access to critical care. For Democratic leaders, extending the subsidies is not just a policy choice, it's a moral imperative and a vital way to protect the hard-won gains made under the Affordable Care Act. They see making these subsidies permanent as a significant step toward universal coverage, and as a safeguard against reversing progress on reducing the number of uninsured Americans. Their message is clear: affordable healthcare should be a right for everyone, not a privilege reserved for a few. Republicans see the subsidies as an unsustainable burden, warning that the current approach could have long-term consequences for the federal budget and the overall economy. The Congressional Budget Office estimates a staggering $350 billion cost over the next decade, raising alarms about the impact on future generations and the nation's fiscal health. Critics argue the program is vulnerable to fraud and waste, pointing to past examples where oversight failed and taxpayer dollars were misused or lost. They contend that increasing subsidies simply shifts the financial burden onto taxpayers, without tackling the underlying issue: the persistently high cost of healthcare in America. GOP leaders accuse Democrats of manufacturing a sense of crisis for political leverage, arguing that the urgency is exaggerated for partisan gain. They point out that the subsidies don't actually expire until the end of the year, leaving time for a more thoughtful debate and solution. Instead, Republicans advocate for market-based reforms, encouraging more competition, greater price transparency, and reducing unnecessary regulations, all with the goal of making healthcare more affordable and accessible for everyone, not just those receiving subsidies. Their bottom line: subsidies, they argue, only mask the real problem, while adding to the growing national debt and putting future stability at risk. Policy experts are divided on whether subsidies actually lower healthcare costs or just change who pays. Supporters say subsidies make insurance affordable for millions, improving public health. Critics argue subsidies let insurers keep prices high, shifting the burden to taxpayers and discouraging real reform. Some warn that ongoing subsidies could entrench high prices and make future cuts politically impossible. Most agree that real solutions require tackling the underlying costs of drugs, hospital care, and medical services. The debate highlights the challenge of balancing affordability, sustainability, and reform. Congress faces a pivotal choice as the deadline nears. A permanent extension of subsidies would provide certainty, but faces steep opposition over cost. A short-term deal could delay the crisis, but prolong uncertainty for families and insurers. If no action is taken, millions could see premiums soar, leading to a spike in the uninsured and straining public health systems. The stakes are high. The outcome will shape household budgets and access to care for years. As lawmakers negotiate, families wait to see if their coverage remains affordable. The decision will ripple through homes across America, defining the future of healthcare.